Continuing our discussion, step number 2, protecting our lean tissue with a calorie flow. Having a trickle flow of calories coming in from the digestive system, not only relying on fat release from fat cells. So we know that with athletes, the majority of overtraining is caused either entirely or at least partly by low calorie, or in all cases that researchers have looked, low carbohydrate in particular. Depending on the sport athlete level and where they are in their training cycle, this could be 30 to 90% of athletes. And in every study that's looked, it's the athletes that are eating on average half of the athletes that are not overtrained, they're experiencing overtraining symptoms. But it's not just how much we're eating, it's also the timing. So if you take a look at this intermittent fasting study with non-athletes, people who skip breakfast over 12 weeks are losing twice as much lean tissue, muscle mass, as body fat. Well, this is catastrophic for maintaining body fat loss over time. So when you stop eating this way, you're going to go up in body fat faster than ever because of the loss of lean tissue that occurred in this yo-yo dieting experience. So intermittent fasting does the same thing as an extremely low calorie diet, which is that it doesn't just reduce body fat, but can also trigger a significant amount of lean tissue loss. Here's a comparison with athletic individuals where they're exercising really hard, and the intermittent fasting, it helps them with some of their health parameters, less inflammation, lower lipid levels in the bloodstream, but their larger muscle groups can't recover because of not eating often enough, and their hormone levels drop. So in endurance competitive athletes and gymnasts, runners, there's a loss in menstrual cycle in females, loss in testosterone levels in males. There's an increase in body fat by 0.3% for every hour that there's a delay eating when blood sugar and blood protein levels are low. This is because healthy tissue burns fats, unhealed, unhealthy tissue does not. And it's in part your nutrition as well as stress management and sleep that determines the health of your tissue. So every 6 hours, every quarter of your 24-hour day, you go into a deficit of calories by 1/4 of however many calories you need for the day. So when you eat a healthy, balanced meal that's relatively unprocessed, so it doesn't digest really fast. So I'm not talking about donuts and ice cream, but rather something that on a plate you would recognize as being reasonably healthy, that's going to nourish your body for 6 or more hours. Your body isn't actually fasted where it's struggling to get nutrients until after that 6 to 8 hours has passed. So the fasted state, the clock really starts ticking for that when digestion is done and nutrient levels in the blood are dropping. So the fasted state is at least 6 hours after you're in the fed state from having eaten a meal. So after dinner, that's after halfway through the night while you're sleeping. But when you wake up, you've been in that fasted state for a couple hours. So you've gone at least 1/4 of your day in the fasted state generally when you wake up, and it's going longer than that, where you're more than 25% a deficit by having spent more than 25% of your 24-hour day in the fasted state, that you start to lose lean tissue in the amounts that are as much or more as your body fat. So if you were to eat something that digests really slow, like raw vegetables and lentils, beans, these things digest really slow, and fats generally digest slow. So if you're eating almonds or avocado, then it could take most of the day before you go back into a deeper deficit where your metabolism starts to get hurt. Eating twice a day makes it even easier, and eating multiple times a day, like a couple meals, a couple snacks, makes it very easy to maintain or avoid a significant deficit that starts to hurt your metabolic rate and therefore work against your healthy lean tissue growth if you're trying to gain weight, or maintaining that lean tissue if you're trying to lose weight, or transition from body fat to lean tissue if you're trying to maintain weight. In all cases, the focus is lean tissue, and you can do it by eating once a day, twice a day, or even 12 times a day. Now, if eating more frequently increases your caloric intake and you're trying to lose weight, then you have to remember that the calorie balance model isn't wrong. It's just incomplete when you're pushing it too hard. So generally, a 25% caloric restriction or overeating, so to speak, from your calorie needs will give you healthy weight loss versus healthy weight gain. If you're outside of those parameters, then your metabolism can't adjust enough, or it will adjust to fight back against the healthy weight loss and healthy weight gain. You'll lose more lean tissue than you're wanting when you're losing weight. You'll go up more in body fat than you're likely wanting as you're gaining weight. So if your meals and snacks ratchet you up to your calorie needs, then you'll maintain your weight. And if they ratchet you up to as much as 25% over your needs, then you'll have healthy weight gain. But it's very typical for people to roll out of bed, do a hard workout where they wake up a quarter of their daily needs in deficit, and then their workout drops them another quarter. And no matter how healthy they eat after that, the body's not ever going to fully get out of that ditch where they're losing their hormone levels and going up in body fat 0.3% for each hour that they delayed eating. So you could just on the back of the envelope or on a yellow sticky, just put a descending line from the upper left to the lower right. And at the end of 24 hours, this would be where you're not eating at all. How low in a deficit would you go? That would be however many calories you need in the day, whether that's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 calories. And you don't even have to have the correct number. You just, even if you're off by 1,000 calories, all that matters is that you're thinking and therefore have a way of adjusting things systematically to see how your body improves from that. These up arrows are feedings, a down arrow is a workout, and you can just think to yourself, where might I be in terms of my deficit or excess in my day? How do these arrows balance out that are placed on this descending line?